Good morning. This is Justice's Waiting Room live on YouTube.com. My name is Jared Malat. You, of course, are finding me, okay? YouTube.com / @likelyalien, okay? That's where we're broadcasting from. Okay, as I go into studio, go to content, go to live. I like to get a link to the live, post it in my Discord so that you know probably the first message I'll send out in the morning. I'll always try to share first. Our Discord, okay? To let you know this is a community thing we're doing, okay? This is a link to our Discord, okay? Here's a link to our live. So if you want to create some content, post it on social media with a link to this live, that's what I usually do at the beginning of the show. When I first get on, the first thing I do is I'm going to notify my Discord that I'm live. Then I'm going to go to Blue Sky so that you know where you can find me. Okay? I'm pretty available, for the record. I would argue for someone in journalism that isn't on Twitter, because fuck Elon Musk. I'm not on Facebook because fuck Mark Zuckerberg. Or Threads or IG. And I encourage any of you that are teetering on which side of the class war you're on. Just saying. I'm on Blue Sky. Okay? Just so you all know, and this ain't an ad. Blue Sky is the fastest growing social media platform that I can remember since Twitter that has consistently gained users. Okay? And I encourage you to go to my YouTube channel. So let me share the link to my YouTube channel. Okay? And I'm not saying this to be a smart aleck to anybody, because I can see the conversation in my chat. Good to go. Not just going to share my channel, I think. Okay. I don't know if that works. I don't think that's what that is. Is this a link? It is not. Disregard this. Remove. I'm gonna what? Copy, paste the link to my YouTube. Okay. So just to make sure, because I see people in the chat saying they're not getting notifications I'm live, I just want to clarify that you've gone to the link I just posted that says youtube.com / @likelyalien, which, for the record, if you ever wonder what I'm doing when I'm not live, right? Eating / sleeping / resting, relaxing. I like to play video games. Right now I'm playing Path of Exile 2. It's frustrating as fuck, but that's what I like. I like fucking hard. If it's not difficult off rip, I'm uninterested, because that means I'm going to blow through your content and get bored. Okay? Yeah, Facebook has devolved very much faster than I anticipated. Twitter, for the record, totally saw it coming, right? Like, because it was Elon Musk. Um, Unmitigated ego can only get you so far. Before, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Um, and it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. Um, what happens when you're smart is you are constantly trying to outfox everybody. And when you're like constantly trying to outfox everybody, you're going to get into conspiracy theory land. You're going to start to think that we need to colonize fucking Mars. And then honestly, what is Meta going to do? What's Mark Zuckerberg's going to do? Right? Virtual reality, actually. That's going to compete with a fucking Mars project. And that's how idiots think. That's how these people fucking think. Like, honestly. It's like a constant dick measuring contest. Um, so yeah. I wanted to point out, as my chat pointed out, stealing my fucking thunder. Uh, as much as I've shit on Elon Musk, I have to say, right, Lori? Lori said, "I'm sick of putting money in the hands of freaking billionaires." That's what I'm saying. That's why my first. That's why my first post today, when I woke up this morning, I've started reading a little more about Luigi Mangione. Uh, he ain't going. He probably will not serve a sentence. It's just a, and I don't know that he even did it. I want to make sure I say both of those things. I don't know that he'll serve a sentence, and I also don't know that he did it. But again, the hard reality is, like I said, what happens between in the next fucking week or so will tell you a lot about, the next 5 days. You know what I mean? Not his eyebrows. What's wrong? I didn't touch my eyebrows. I did trim my beard. So for everyone, Taylor, my wife said I'm pushing it with the chin strap. That I need a little more, need a little more beard in here. Um, but there I go trying to trim up my face. But yeah, if they split, you must have quit. Yeah. Listen, 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 Linda, listen. So we've got to talk about this theory that I have. Okay. So good morning to my chat. There's 6 people in here. They're all Chatty McCatheys. Okay. So Chatty McCatheys, have you all seen Fight Club? Have you all seen Fight Club? I It's the one where Brad Pitt looks edible. I, Stop me when I lie. Okay. So pair that film, pair that film, the cult following it has. Edward Norton is a goddamn genius. Pair that film, its cult following, and the mental health crisis among military age males in this country, and you look me dead in the motherfucking eye and tell me Luigi Mangione is not part of some fucking underground fucking group of highly educated, highly motivated people who have long since established the only way forward is through. And I don't feel like that's much of a stretch. Helene Bonham Carter can fucking get it. 25-year-old son loves it. Admitted that he and his friends had their own club. It's a thing. Let me throw this little wrench in the doubt that you have right now that I'm even on to something. You ready for this? The popularity of mixed martial arts. The fact that the U.S. just got out of a bunch of conflict and have had a steady decline in the number of active duty service members. Where do you think all them people fucking go? Back to the factory? Have y'all ever seen Rundown? It's a movie with The Rock. 1911 Raisin Cod. Hey, Brasher, you're looking at it. Call of Duty's breakfast. I only play Call of Duty after I eat breakfast. That's just the fucking rules. I can play any other video game, but I cannot play Call of Duty first thing when I wake up. I'm refuse. Which is hilarious because the new Call of Duty is actually very good. And I know you're all like, oh my god, I can roll my eyes any harder. No, you don't understand. You've basically been like really slow and clunky as a character unless you completely decked your character out to be a fast moving character. And now everyone can move. And for the record, wait, year was I born? 1983. July 19th, 1983. I have nothing. Do your worst. Yeah. So when you of course see the eyebrows and you know, I said I have a fucking unibrow. If I don't do something to these fucking things, look at my fucking eyebrows. I can actually grow hair on my beard and my eyebrows. But this takes longer than 4 days. Okay? So one of the things that Mona Marlu, but yeah, when you don't even have to dig very hard. I didn't have to. I don't feel like I had to stretch any truth there. I pointed at facts. The popularity of Call of Duty was brought up by someone in chat. MMA being wildly popular. Fight Club as a movie with its cult following paired with a mental health crisis from military age males who, like their whole life, have just essentially been raging hormone machines with very little stopping them from just becoming tyrants. Because I often think about, you know, without a handle on reality at all. Like think about right now. Think about how the people feel right now that don't know about Executive Order 13848. Can you imagine if you didn't know that that existed? Can you imagine if you didn't know that there was a document that outlined how they prosecute election crimes up into including fraud and talking about forfeiture? I try not to get too deep into it because I'm not a fucking lawyer and I don't want to get myself spun up and be so certain of an outcome and then be very disappointed. But on the whole, like, can you imagine going through, well, when did we find out? You know what I mean? Because you got to understand, like, the way you feel, largely, if you're a cognizant human, lots of people feel the same way you do. They just don't say it out loud. You know, like when I say I'm a socialist, and then I always feel like I immediately have to explain it. That just means I want everyone to have universal health care, income, education, and housing. And the only reason people don't want those things for you and everyone else is because they want someone to suffer so they can live life on easy street, so they can continue their way of life. Because God forbid, people decide to live for one another instead of just, and I get it, far too many people, Jared, can not even live for themselves. And I think that's part of the problem and part of the direction that we're heading. If it weren't for very smart people. And again, I just want to point out Kamala Harris's latest speech, she did say to continue to fight. When would the election be certified? Morning, Logan. March. So, what I believe is going to happen, and I think Brasher can back me up on this. What I believe is going to happen is by Friday, and look, I one of the things we got to talk about because people are talking about time frames, okay, and they're saying like they don't have time, they got to turn those reports in. The GOP don't give a fuck. They will break laws up until the moment you put fucking handcuffs on them, some bitches. Yes, Logan. So the reports aren't due until the 20th. Okay? From my understanding, there's another 45-day period after that, and another 30-day period after that. Brasher says they're ramping up Elon talk that'll lead to Trump. As I've said, Lil Birdie told me Elon Musk is next, and I haven't seen a big arrest since the last one they got right. So until they start being wrong, I'm just going to expect that maybe we get David Sachs next before Donald Trump. You got to take away his money. You got to take away his access to money. You notice he's stacking his cabinet with all these rich people, right? Someone said he's got like the richest $500 billion in his cabinet. Talk about a war chest. The time frame for the EO would put it into March, which is why I said March. Wait, does that mean he would sit in the chair? No. The Biden, like Joe Biden said, we're going to keep her around in the new year. I feel like that was a telegraph. Did we just walk right by that and nobody else was like, oh, that was him saying that, like, I'm going to be the president, she's going to be the vice president for a while? No? No? Y'all didn't get that when you watched his speech? Huh. Savvy. You'd have thought he was talking about Kamala Harris like they were going to have a barbecue. I'm going to have her around next year? Fuck did you think he was saying? I know at least a couple of you were like, how did you... Yeah, Lawrence O'Donnell was talking about Elon last night. Yeah, somebody in our Discord so kindly shared a link this morning to 15 minutes. Where did that go? It's the last word with Lawrence O'Donnell. They didn't put the link in there. So I'll Google it for us. Well, okay, so here's what I think. Okay? I think that $35.42. Okay, so this is a 42-minute episode. Sorry. So that was Lawrence, um, his episode from last night. So there, you guys, and we'll post that link in our chat. Okay. I think people are nervous. You won't hear anything. It'll be dragged out. Oh well. Okay. So I think they pay a lot of attention to social media, and they get a tone and tenor out of people, and they see a rise in people talking about losing hope and people just being really nervous and shit, and then they put out a nugget. So I don't know if you've caught that yet. Like, they'll wait until the sentiment is like, oh no, they need to do something, I'm starting to lose hope, and then they do something, and then hope is restored, right? Like, and again, the thing that I keep, like, it's frustrating. I'm here for a reason. I'm here to de-escalate and reduce anxiety, and mum is the motherfucking word. It's a matter of national and international security, and the bad guys are really fucking dumb. Do you get it now? That's why they dropped nuggets. That's why Jackie Singh last night said EO 13848 is not real. We need an armed revolt. Is because people are fucking stupid. She can say whatever the fuck she wants. She's clearly on an information warfare plan as it refers to social media. Very much burn it down, misdirect. She has to. She's in danger. She's throwing flares and smoke and fucking diverting and fucking, yeah. She's trying to bug out. Okay? So on the way out, she's going to throw people, oh, Executive Order 13848 is not real. Okay? But the nagging question is, what is going to happen? And again, the hands of justice are going to move slowly. And I would argue, you got to realize that she was only employed with that campaign for 6 months, and that she's a journalist, and that she has a high profile. She is on like every fucking watch list known to man. That's very hard to employ. Fortunately for her, the jobs she's had have been very high paying. So while I have nothing to say other than that about her personal wealth, like, she's like a Wolverine cub. She has no problem being divisive and backing herself into a corner, and she has very sharp claws. That's just that. She every now and then is going to have to throw a message that throws people off her scent. That it gets certain people out of her fucking DMs. She's not a part of the establishment. She's Han Solo. She's not part of the resistance. She's not part of the Empire. She's kind of a swashbuckler. So she's gonna dip and dunk and dive and dodge. I know that's probably not what you wanted to hear out of someone that's a trusted cybersecurity expert, but you have to understand that her life is in danger, baby girl. And that's more pressing than anything. And again, I keep saying that it's a matter of national and international security, and there's a reason that mum is the word, and they're stupid. And the bad guys are dumb. I said from moment one, when Kamala Harris gave her speech and said fight 18 fucking times, that That wasn't a concession speech. That was a rallying cry. Fight. And the thing about it is, when she's given her speeches recently and she's speaking out and shit, she's not motivating like the everyday low income earner. She's talking to the feds that are working on this right now, that are investigating this. Why would she say that? Why aren't they talking about 26 and 28? You tell me nothing's going to happen. Democracy's just going to die. They're not talking about 26 and 28. They're not phone banking. They're not sending emails. Yeah. Like I said, you know where I am on it. A lot of people are, again, people saw that vote get certified last night and it broke them even farther, and it's like, hey, did you know that 5 electoral votes is the largest change ever in the electoral college as it differed from the electoral vote? Do you understand? There was a 0.1 to 0.05% chance that anything other than Donald Trump being certified having actually now committed the crime. Do you understand? Like, now the crime has been committed. Meow. Now we can start to tidy up our investigations if we're any number of 3 and 4 letter agencies. Hmm. Yeah. So again, I kept trying to tell people it's not illegal to run if you are a convict. Okay, and if you have a criminal record, it's not illegal. You're probably not going to win once they find out you got a criminal record, but you get to use Hunter Biden as the reason. Here's why we don't keep people that are convicts from running for public office, because you may be the target of a political attack. And so just understand that. Garrett North says, "What if nothing happens by December 20th?" Well, Garrett, in nothing happens land, which I don't live, something insane happens every day. It has happened every day since the end of the election. And so that's an asinine question, because tons of shit is going to happen between now and the 20th. But as I've said this entire time, I don't expect anything until the 23rd, because as I've said this whole time, I can't expect all these different 3 and 4 letter agencies to use the same program, like Word or PowerPoint or however you want to do it, or you want to make it on a light show or whatever you want to do. Okay? I can't expect they use the exact same um, themes, and that the fonts are the same, and that the reports all collate together. You see, this is actually my career, is like data analytics. And so I figure they get the weekend to overlook all these reports. They've got to come up with something on their own, right? And I expect the 23rd for them to come out roaring, guns blazing, having completed an investigation, and now we're in, 3 days into the rest. Yeah, I go day by day. Like a lot of people are like pounding on the table, why isn't anything happening? And they're like keep shaking a stick at a rock, and it's just like every single day, like an insane amount of shit has happened since November 5th worldwide. And remember, you live on a planet. You live on a planet. And so when you live on a planet, you can't be US election 24 fucking 7, because you're going to get fucking bored. You have to look at what's going on around you and worldwide. I mean, 1 week after the election, I think I saw like 300,000 hackers were arrested. That wasn't a big bust for you? That didn't carry you for a couple days where you were like, I wonder if that's related to the US election. You know what I mean? Governments have been toppled. NATO put 40 NATO put 40,000 troops into Ukraine, and Ukraine is not a NATO member. Is this thing on? Can y'all hear me? Like, what the fuck do you mean nothing's happening? Did you know 2 additional state attorneys joined the P. Diddy case for a total of 9? So, what the fuck do you think P. Diddy's doing? And why do you think there are 9 fucking attorneys attached to that? And I get it. You're sitting over there thinking, but this doesn't affect the outcome of the election. And it's just like Epstein, flight logs. Like, it is additive. It adds up over time. Lots of shit has happened. So to sit and say, if nothing happens by the 20th, and it's just like, the fuck are you talking about? This is the most turbulent, like, time of my entire life. There's a reason I'm here every single day, 90-minute intervals, going over the news, trying to have a conversation with people. When the date for that trial is, though. FBI raids happened, the Diddy case. Yes. Yes. People ain't talking about that shit. He's from New York. And you don't think Trump and Diddy are like intertwined? Jeez, that's tough. And I get it, Donald Trump's a racist, but like, it is fucking fascinating. And as I've said, the most significant thing to happen in the last 24 hours is that link right there. Smart Elections posts their press release about the drop-off factor in election data. Go look at this and understand that Kamala Harris won 5 swing states. It's in the data. That's Smart Elections. That's a bipartisan project. That is credible. That came out. That was, you know how there were people that were like, the electoral college is going to do right by America, and they're going to vote against the keep in mind they were selected at fucking random, and they reduced the vice president's role in certifying the election to being ministerial. I mean, like, she can't stop it. Savvy? Don't pardon his buddy Diddy. Exactly. He's involved in that too. Diddy's from New York. We're talking about SA. How are Trump and Diddy not 2 sides of the same coin? You know what I mean? But yeah. And again, I'm so now I think it's an avalanche. Now that the certification is complete, now that these reports can start getting wrapped up from all these agencies, and again, why do you think Donald Trump wants to destroy all of these agencies? Why do you think Elon Musk wants to get rid of all of these agencies? Why do you think all the people on Donald Trump's cabinet want to get rid of all, because they don't want to be accountable? They don't want to have committed all the crime they've committed and get tried, and they want the pardon. They want the president to exonerate them in exchange for money. Pretty sure this is much more than our election. Valerie. Ding 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 ding. It is a matter of national and international security. America, you're at risk, baby girl. World, you're in danger, baby girl. Governments toppled. Far right leadership is failing worldwide. right before our very eyes. Look at Russia. And by the way, so I want to talk about this too, because it's a very small percentage of my comments. It's actually probably the least common comment I get. But these are people that say that, oh, you're talking about de-escalation, and then you talk about Russia being an enemy of the United States, like the true enemy of the United States, and uh, and being like a pacifist, and saying like Russia is the enemy and shit, um, and saying that like they don't want missile strikes deep into Russia either. And I just wanted to point out that giving aid or comfort to the enemy is also treason. So don't come to me, you traitorous piece of shit, and tell me that you think the United States should tell Ukraine not to missile strike deep into Russia because that's where all the fucking people are. And you know that you and I both know that it takes one big missile strike that kills a bunch of people in Moscow or St. Pete. And those people will change their minds too. And remember how I say that 60% of Russians want to kill Americans? All it takes is one missile strike, and that shit ends in a fucking hurry. So for all those people out there that it's on the tip of your tongue where you're like, I don't want any more people to die. That's not considering that everyone that don't look like me is in grave danger. All of the people that look like me are the people that are going to turn you in. And that would turn you in and turn on you the first moment they got a chance to. Can you connect some dots with Polymarket, Alfie Oaks, and the election? Sure. So Alfie Oaks is the owner of a farm. He's the owner of Farm to Table. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but he's very wealthy and conservative. And he has a ranch in South Florida. No, it's a Polymarket is a gambling site. We'll get to that. So Alfie Oaks is very close with the Flynns. I don't know if you remember Mike Flynn. Michael Flynn? Um, so on election night, Mike Flynn was at Alfie Oaks' ranch in Florida. And the rumor is that that was the command center. That's where the election was actually stolen. That's where the actual fraud took place. That's the fucking rumors. Um, it was raided by the FBI. They took fucking everything. Cell phones, laptops, TVs off the fucking wall, printers, PCs, your goddamn TV remote. Yeah, Mike Flynn on election night was at Alfie Oaks' fucking ranch in South Florida. So you wanted some dots connected? That ain't no motherfucking dots. That's a straight fucking line. Mike Flynn, Donald Trump. Savvy? And you want to talk about Polymarket. Polymarket is a risque betting application where you can bet like fucking crypto and shit. You can gamble on the markets. So you know how you can invest in the stock market? On Polymarket, you can gamble on that. You can gamble on outcomes that no other betting site would even post, like the US election. Why? Because there's too much of an incentive, too much of an opening to cheat in the election. And also, Elon Musk transferred $375 million using that application. So when you ask me why was the CEO of Polymarket fucking raided by the FBI and why did he hand his cell phone over to the fucking police, and I would tell you is because Elon Musk orchestrated mass election fraud and he and all his buddies bet all their money on the outcome of the election using Polymarket. And again, Elon Musk made like $375 million off that. More than he put into Donald Trump's campaign. And they got all paid. They all got paid. And again, the election got certified, so so far they think they won. And remember, as I've said, this is a matter of national and international security. The Democrats have been awful quiet the last month. And again, that's because it's very hard for people to get up in front of a camera and not talk all the fuck about it. So again, when you have people, and again, for the record, now that I talk about those raids, about Alfie Oakes, about Polymarket CEO, I have all the gas in the world that justice is coming. All the gas in the world. And you should too. I'll let you know. I'm a temperamental motherfucker. But as I said, the last one that my little birdie was confident in was Elon Musk is next. And I'll be goddamn if and think about this. If this was anybody else, if Elon Musk didn't have 90% of the government contracts currently in existence, they don't normally publicly threaten SEC securities fraud violations if you don't pay a massive fine, unless it's a national and international security risk and they're concerned that you're a flight risk. And I also want to point out that Elon Musk flew to fucking Iran and met with Iranian leaders. Iran is not our fucking ally. I believe that's Hezbollah, is it not? And then came back to the US and immediately got in trouble again, and where he's publicly being investigated again. And again, I would say, if this was anyone else on fucking Earth, your ass would already be in behind bars. But Elon Musk is a national and international security risk. He's a flight risk. Well, here's the thing. If I'm wrong, establishing the American Socialist Party is the smartest thing that I could do. So understand that I'm correct no matter what happens. Right? If the rule of law comes in and saves the fucking day, the Republican Party is dead, baby. If the Justice Department comes in and saves the fucking day, Amanda, that's part of how you know shit is happening. Is on Friday, Elon Musk was very publicly threatened with SEC fines for securities fraud if he didn't pay a big fine, and you ain't heard a goddamn word since. So what do you think's happened now 5 full days later? After a visit to Iran, after coming back and getting in trouble for that visit for not signing documents that say, like, I won't talk about state secrets. I can promise you, if they are publicly stating that you haven't signed some documents that talk about state secrets, oh, well, your ass is grass. Oh, you're in deep shit. The thing that he keeps doing is he gets in public and he's like got a kid in his lap and shit. Any Fed worth their fucking weight in salt is not taking his ass down while he's got a kid in his lap. I'm not leaving that kid with permanent emotional damage. Fuck that. So, a lot of people. And also this was the last story, kind of last night. So remember how he said he was being investigated for having conversations with people? That left me use for the EO. Yep. Elon not in public. Yeah. Here was the last story last night from The Guardian that Elon Musk will not receive highest level government security clearance. So what do you think's going to happen with fucking Starlink? What do you think's going to happen with fucking Tesla? Now that their fucking CEO will not receive the highest security clearance possible. He's being threatened with SEC securities fraud indictment if he doesn't pay a fine. I would argue Elon Musk is such a fucking narcissist that if he had the money, it would be paid for. And that's part of the reason why he went to Iran, was to see if he could shake the Iranians down for some money. I got something. I don't know what that noise was on my phone. Anyway, so my phone's never made that noise. That means something's going on. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's been asking me since Starlink came out, what do I think about Starlink? And I don't know if you've ever see, my daddy hunted, and he mounted shit on the wall, like big bucks and shit. And that's how I look at Starlink when it becomes a public free internet for the world. Yeah, like if you're really not seen him, I think since Saturday. Yeah, so there's May saying like really haven't seen Elon since Saturday. So like I said, there's people that are doom and gloom, and again, I'm kind of starting to look at the doom and gloomers like Trumpers. It's like they got ostrich parasitic syndrome and they just bury their head in the fucking sand. Oh, woe is me. And it's like, you're going to get run the fuck over. You're going to get so overwhelmed with justice because the whole time you were like, nothing's going to happen. He's just going to get away with it. This is a nightmare. Look, the data's even fucking in your face that tells you fucking cheated. Nothing's going to happen. And I've not said that at all. And I know that it's difficult. I know that it's hard to like go to work. It's hard to have a lot of energy to do a lot of other things. What the fuck is that noise? Sorry, I gotta mute my phone. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. But yeah. It's so obnoxious. We do best say there's reporting his position in trouble with the White House. Like I think it will be an indication that won't happen. An indication that won't happen. What do you mean? Oh, did you see oh my god. MAGA's flipping the fuck out. Elon was asked about fucking drones again, and he said the government knows what's going on with the drones. And it's like, you realize you would be getting briefings if you could pass an FBI background check and weren't a convict. They could be giving you more information, Don. And you could be educating the public. Yeah, yeah, concrete evidence. Yeah, he won't. Oh, and something to think about, like it doesn't really matter what cell phone you use, but if they want, they if they want, they can listen in on every conversation you have. I mean, you'd have to take a lot of security risks off the table. to be able to comfortably fly to Iran, meet with their leadership, and that not be fucking recorded? You think the State Department didn't hear every word? Jesus. Do you not know how spies work? I once heard a joke. This is a joke about American like undercover overseas operatives. That you couldn't have a relevant conversation outside of US soil without someone in the US hearing it. So there's people out there that live with their head in the sand. They have ostrich parasitic syndrome where they just are all doom and gloom all the time. Nothing's ever going to happen to these fucking people. And it's like, I would argue that what has happened to Elon Musk since Friday would shake you to the core if it happened to you. If one of them fucking things happened to you, if you saw your name in the goddamn paper and it said, you owe 40, $50 million, otherwise we're indicting you on SEC charges for security fraud by Monday. And again, he went to fucking Iran, and that's a big goddamn no-no. And I'd argue he probably went out there to promise them help in their nuclear program in exchange for money. I'm gonna turn my phone off. Nope. Put my shit on airplane mode. Sorry. It kept making noises and it never makes noises. I hate when my phone does that. But yeah, we've been going for about 52 minutes. I looked earlier and didn't say anything. We got 20 people in here, so we're pretty consistent. I would ask you to help me grow. And hey, you know, we post that we're live, right? Post that we're live. I would love for you to tag me. Okay. I'm on Blue Sky. You're just getting on Blue Sky, or we're not friends. There's how you can find me. Is my name, my handle on Blue Sky. Likely alien. That'd be me. This is the link to the live, or to my channel. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Okay? I was reading this earlier. I thought it was kind of funny. So, yeah, that let me know that he knows he's going to be in office for a few more months, and he's looking to retire. Here's the show links. Sorry. Okay. So remember yesterday there was that story about how the Ukrainian general who's in charge of the nuclear weapons program for Russia and his assistant were killed by a bomb. This story is about how Vladimir Putin, the Kremlin, is accusing Ukraine of terrorism. Keep in mind, Russia invaded Ukraine illegally and started a war with them. Russia's the much larger country. They moved on Ukraine like they were just going to come in and take it. The U.S. and Ukraine have fought back and advanced even deep into Russia and are absolutely in a fucking war. Right. Right. And I think that Democrats know this. Again, I said before the election, there's no way, or not before the election. I said in the last month. Let me correct myself on my time frames. In the last few weeks, I've said you don't run Kamala Harris, who internal polling never was beating Donald Trump. Why wouldn't you just run Pete Buttigieg, the guy that's like a good-looking white man, popular, everybody that hears him likes him, hear him speak. He was polling ahead of Trump. Why why would you run Kamala Harris if you weren't ever going to beat Donald Trump in the election of our lifetimes? Like, I know you think they're stupid. There are a lot of people out there that are really hard on the Democrats that they're fucking stupid. But again, there's a lot of signs that said that they knew that shit was happening ahead of time. And a lot of shit that I didn't know, for the record, okay? A month before the election, Joe Biden and several, it was like 4 or 5, 3 and 4 letter agencies, put out a public warning about Russian interference into this election. Go look that up. Joe Biden did that. So to think that he didn't know, given how he looked at the White House lunch with Donald Trump, where he was like I said, ethereal. He looked like Abraham Lincoln. He was all relaxed, sitting back in that chair. He's all pale and smiling and shit. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. He knew. What day is your TikTok ban up tomorrow? Tomorrow at 2:45, we will be back live on TikTok. So we got to get all our nasty conversations out of the way today because we got to go water down our fucking content so that these jabronis don't come in and ruin it for everybody else. But honestly, like I said, I'm gonna push real hard to get as many people over to the YouTube, to the YouTube. You know, I have 748 subscribers, so I just want to say thank you. But yeah, we gotta be cognizant again. You know, I think it's your decision to be very selfish in this frame of time and say like I need to know, and let me be the person that tells you this isn't about you. This is about national and international security. A whole bunch of people are in danger. Russia and Israel have invaded our political system, and just like angry piss babies, they aren't getting their way, so they've decided to corroborate with a foreign actor and cheat in this election. Yeah, that's what I was asking. Get a push on TikTok starting tomorrow. This huge stuff's happening. Yeah, I think it sucks that TikTok might get banned because this is, like I said, I've never even thought about my following count. How many people like my shit? That's I never even like thought about it before. And then I got on TikTok, and I don't know about anybody else, but like my shit exploded. Like I'm by the end of this episode, I'll be at like 9,000 fucking followers, and it hasn't been 2 months. So I think that people agree with what I'm saying when I say, like, countries have been attacked, leaders have been murdered in cold blood, politicians that are socialists have just been killed my whole life. People that are saying, like, the government could just give you free healthcare, education, income, and housing, could pay for that. It would cost you about $2,000 more every year, um, in taxes. And instead, you pay $8,000 more a year for your healthcare. So understand, the problem is that people are stupid, and you can't tell them your choices are, you could pay $8,000 a year for healthcare, or you could pay about $2,000 more a year in taxes, and you could have free education, healthcare, income, and housing. Yeah, because I'm attached to the truth, right? And I don't have a problem uh, thinking outside the box, and starting to stretch from what I know has happened and talk about what I think will happen. And I think that I try to make as logical connections as I can, because I think you're owed that. I think you're owed someone in media that can take in information, process that, spit out a cogent thought about it, isn't afraid to talk about it, isn't afraid to divide their audience, isn't afraid to be themselves, isn't afraid to show up to work every day. Keep in mind, I have to frequently remind myself, this is not on me. You get it? This ain't on me. This ain't my fault. Shit that's all fucked up, it ain't my fault. I sleep like a fucking baby. Every morning, what new fresh hell am I waking up to? Yeah. Marjorie Taylor Greene, well, for the record, we got to say it right. Donald Trump on Truth Social posted, the government knows what's going on with these drones and they just won't tell you. Shoot them down. And Marjorie Taylor Greene quote tweeted Donald Trump and said, shoot down the drones. And Donald Trump got asked yesterday about the drones, and Donald Trump said, the government knows what's going on with those drones. He didn't say shoot them down in his interview in person yesterday, but he echoed what he said. The government knows what's going on with those drones. And so, again, I've said this whole time, the gig was up at the lunch. Donald Trump received marching orders. And I would argue shit's kind of died off. I don't know about you, but when you're having to walk back campaign promises and you haven't even been fucking sworn in yet, you're out of shit. Savvy? He's feeling like he did his end of the bargain. For those of you that it's your first time listening to my podcast, you are about to hear me say something that most of these people have not heard me say very often. But I've been suggesting that Donald Trump was on his last motherfucking leg when he went to the White House. And one of my early TikToks, as I'm seeing my audience starting to realize, I'm talking about how I made up a story about what happened at the White House. It's one of my most popular TikToks. It's called What Really Happened at Lunch. And for the record, I'm fully telling you that I made that shit up. I don't have any idea what happened. And when I start a story with, Kamala Harris was hiding behind the door, and when Donald Trump walked in the front door of the motherfucking White House, Kamala Harris walked up and bapped him in the neck with the truth serum. Fucking zah! Gotcha, bitch! And then as Donald Trump's like stumbling and shit, he stumbles into Joe Biden, who like catches his fat ass and is like, damn, Don, you weigh almost 300 pounds, and gets him to stand back up. And all of a sudden, like, Donald Trump's like a wet fucking noodle and tells them everything they want to know with cameras on him. He signed some paperwork. He doesn't know what he fucking signed. He had to sign some like transition paperwork. My fucking tinnitus stopped. That's how I know I was right. Minus the truth serum. Do you know what's really good at making you tell the truth? When your fucking ass is raw. Okay? I don't know about y'all, but like, imagine you're a ketamine addict with a poor diet. You like to eat McDonald's. And you're older anyway. So sometimes, you might have a little pee left when you pull your underwear up. I don't know. I'm getting older. I know how it is. Every now and then I piddle in my fucking pants. Mostly because like I wasn't completely done pissing. It's just life, right? But Donald Trump's a fucking ketamine addict and has a poor diet. And literally can't keep himself from shitting his motherfucking pants. And a few days before that visit to the White House, he was seen in public with literal shit on his fucking blazer, which tells you no one cares about him, not even himself. And I would argue that when he went to the White House and you saw him on TV, the suit that he had on fit a little tight and it wasn't nearly as dirty. And I've suggested that when he walked into the White House, got hit by the truth serum, stumbled into Joe Biden, Joe Biden was like, this is no way for the president-elect to appear. Don, we got to talk. And he put his arm around him and they walked down the hallway together. And I told you, Donald Trump was like, I donated $30 million to the Democratic Party and you wouldn't even acknowledge my existence. And Joe Biden's like, Don, you're a racist. And an adjudicated rapist. And a traitor. We were never going to be friends. But I'm going to help you this one time. And he walks him down, and Donald Trump gets a fresh shave and a shower and a fucking clean suit. He gets to look like a fucking dignified human being for a few minutes. And I know some of you are sitting there right now having trouble distinguishing between reality, what really fucking happened, and what I am suggesting happened in my story that I'm literally making up as we go. And Donald Trump is in being bathed, being cleaned, and Joe Biden's asking how long has it been like this? And he said, I'm not living the quality of life that I'm used to. I'm starting to feel like I'm being taken advantage of. I very rarely have money. I can't hardly go anywhere, do anything unless I ask for money. And while he's in there getting a shower and a shave and getting all his wounds treated, now that you know, if you shit your fucking pants or don't wipe yourself fully within 24 hours, you're going to have really bad rash. And if you've been shitting your pants for a while, yeah. When you've been shitting your pants for a while and you've got visible shit on your clothes, you have rashes all over you. So you wonder why he's so angry and mad all the fucking time? It's because no one will help him. And again, you're having trouble figuring out if I'm telling you the truth or if I'm still telling you a fucking story. Because the only thing that is unbelievable about this is the fucking truth serum. So Donald Trump puts a suit on. It's a little fucking tight. If you go back and look at the fucking interview when they're sitting it, tell me when I'm wrong. Donald Trump looked uncomfortable. He was sitting upright in that fucking chair next to the fire. That suit didn't look like it fit very well there, Don. again, I'm saying that was in the fucking White House. That was the plan the whole time. I have even suggested that Donald Trump was a plant by the Democratic Party. And they wanted to know how deep the fucking corruption goes. And again, the difference between me and everyone else is that I will tell you, like, this is all I'm making it up. Diaper rash fucking hurts. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he gets to the White House, he's on his last fucking leg. Do you not? And again, I'm not misremembering shit. He was fucking struggle busing right up until that fucking lunch, was he not? Think, yeah, like a few days before that, he was fucking struggling. That's when you saw him with shit on his clothes. Literal poop stains on his fucking blazer. And remember he was on what was it, In the Morning or whatever, and they have those beautiful white couches, and he was clearly sitting on a white pad that is literally that's for people with that like can't hold their bowels. That's what that pad is, that towel was for. Like I saw the Amazon link. He was fucking struggling going into that meeting, and I'm telling you, it's because he's an older man. All his friends are fucking younger men that are on ketamine, on fucking cocaine, alcohol, fucking partying. Think about the people that have come to bat for Donald Trump. These are all people much younger than him that Don's a good time. He's lived a wild life. But clearly, it's clear to me that right up until that lunch, it's almost like Russia was hands off. Let's see what happens at the White House lunch. And again, this could be out there, but all different terrorists keep pulling the death card. Like, Valerie, are you saying like this morning? Because Valerie, I had a bunch of tarot readers reach out when I first got on TikTok. For the record, they were the nicest fucking people. They were like, I love your content. You're telling the fucking truth. People need to hear the fucking truth. Can I do a reading for you? And I had like 6 of them done without having to pay for it. For the record, it was fucking nice. I'd never gotten a tarot reading in my life. I got like 6 in a 2-week period. Every single. Did I tell you guys this? Or did I not tell anyone this? Oh shit. My bad, y'all. So I got like 6 tarot readings done over like a 2-week period on TikTok, and every one of them hit the Hanged Man. Upside down. Does that mean anything? And they also hit like 4 other things, all the fucking same, but it got so fucking creepy that I was like, nah, it's not real. The deck is fucking stacked. Did I not tell anyone that? Cool. So understand that really fucking happened. Yeah. So I'm more open-minded than I actually appear. I'm not like most people that you run into. You can spit some batshit at me, and I will try to follow you. I'm a video gamer. So I'll try to play. And I listened to half dozen different tarot readers, and all of them pulled the inverted Hanged Man. That was the one thing that was very common. It does mean 2 things. If I remember, it's a great deal of accountability, and then also because he's upside down, it also means a great deal of change, if I remember correctly. Something like that. It fueled my fire. It did enough. It did enough for me that I could dismiss it as sheer coincidence. Hanged Man inverted must just be common, and I blew it off, frankly, because the results were too similar, and it kept happening every reading. And I was like, "Do y'all know each other?" And they're like, "No, I don't know who that is." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah." It was the same one. Like 8 of. I'm trying to remember. There were 3 or 4 other ones because there was like 10 total. I think, 10 or 12. And like half of them were the same among everyone. At lunch, people assumed Biden was rolling over. So yeah. But yeah. I just think at the White House, I think that stuff happened that we do not know. There. That's a good way to say it and not like get caught up in like the wait, are you trying to tell the truth or are you telling us a story? I think that what happened at that lunch was not a meal. I mean, I'm sure somebody ate. I'm sure there was some pretty young press dignitary that looked really good that day. But as far as food, they didn't eat lunch. He was there for 2.5 hours, is what I heard. Told that rice means you can't tell the story right. It got taken down, and then I appealed it and was like, wait a minute, I'm not allowed to story tell, and it got put back up. Literally in the little 500 blurb that you can fucking appeal, I was like, I totally made it up as I told it and announced it, and I can't do that. And they were like, oh, that appeal's good. So I've done deep dive in tarot because I had a recent experience and it really grabbed my attention. It was spontaneous and so on point, got my attention for real. We told a story and somebody can't tell a story. It's so funny. It was called a lunch and they never ate. Exactly. And again, not made a big deal. Democrats, the quietest I've ever heard the Democrats. Remember that they were asking for donations for a recount up until the phone call with Kamala and Tim, and they got on there. And remember, I told you like they stopped asking for donations then, and it's like it's because the shit was piling up. And they didn't talk about anything important either. And fucking nothing burgers. All these speeches, in my eyes, all these speeches the Democrats have been given, fucking nothing burgers. And when I say it's a nothing burger, I mean it's not a call to action. Telling someone to fight, right? I think you're just fighting a shitty attitude, fighting being in a bad mood. Know what the facts are. Know where your head should be. Understand, okay? If not for Executive Order 13848, and I'm gonna put the fucking link up again. We are gonna talk about this almost every day on this fucking show. This is Justice's waiting room, and I'm gonna show you the sort of justice we are waiting for. And so if you're the kind of person that looks at these links and thinks there's a possibility these aren't real, I want you to Google Executive Order 13848. I'd prefer that you did it on a VPN so that your search results are not being like stolen from you and potentially used against you someday. But yeah, Google Executive Order 13848. Look at the quality. Look at the quality. Queens in the Chariot. They all pull the same cards. I told you. Told you. So that campaign, can you ask for donation? Make so much contact after the election. No, war. War is my opener. Whoa. God, what is it good for? Well, my wife is off on Wednesdays, and so like I like her. I didn't like her this morning because she and I were arguing and she slobbered, and I stopped arguing with her to make fun of her for slobbering, and she act like she was gonna throw her fucking phone at me, and I got mad, and I was like, how the fuck are we like husband and wife fucking arguing, and you're 5 of Swords, 9 of Cups, or something like that. 8 of Wands. Is that a fucking thing? I'm trying to remember what else that person was. But anyway, so if it weren't for Executive Order 13848 and this document about prosecuting election offenses, then what I would be saying right now is we're in wait and see mode until January 6th. And we still have Jamie Raskin saying before the election that if the voters aren't going to do it, we're just going to do it on January 6th. And that's tell Donald Trump he's ineligible for office and we're going to need bodyguards. It's going to be like the Civil War. Remember? He said that. So if it weren't for this, what we're going to talk about, I would just be wait and see mode until January 6th and go from there. And then, for the record, if they decide to, if they would have, if that was what happened, if the if the administration decided to certify him on the 6th and inaugurate him on the 20th, there would be mass protests in the 2 weeks between January 6th and January 20th. And I don't think that Donald Trump would ever get to that podium. And again, I've said that before, but again, I feel like I have to say it again. I have it on good authority that if the current administration just sidesteps law and ignores a very rigid constitution that has fucking rules in it that you gotta, and Barry O just said, when you got one party that doesn't give a shit about the rules, we're gonna have to fight. And it's like, and y'all just think they've said fight like 9 million motherfucking times. And here, sign here, Don, you can have it all? Okay. Married 38 arguing has to happen once in a while. No, it was fine. We basically, I'll just tell you all. Okay, this is my marital bliss, moment of marital bliss. So keep in mind we live in Indianapolis, Indiana, okay, on the east side. And climate change is real, y'all. So what climate change has done in Indiana is it has dried us the fuck out. Yeah, that's right. It's like the desert. We have not had significant rainfall. We have had cold. And so what has happened is that the ground has frozen and thawed and frozen over the last 7 to 10 days. And my house is on top of a hill, a little hill. You know, you go around the bend and you're kind of up at the top of the hill, and my house is on the right, top of the hill. And we've got a little, we don't have a basement. We have a crawl space. And our crawl space is all stone, and it's like 5 feet below the foundation, and it's sloped off, going off my property. And so we've had, for the record, we've had a leak before. Okay, we've had a leak before where the sump pump alarm went off. We had to do all that shit. Okay. Last couple days, my wife's getting on my ass saying, hey, the sump pump's running. Okay. In my eyes, and I'm not a fucking plumber, I don't even stay at a Holiday Inn Express. I told her, ground's real hard. It's rained last few days. I expect my sump pump to be running. And I moved on with my life. Shit, we had 2 days of shows. I didn't even say nothing to you. Right? I haven't said anything. I haven't said anything about this. But this morning, she was like, you need to fucking make some phone calls. Sump pump's still fucking running. Okay. Yeah, majority of the country turned blue. We hold on. So we gotta get some data into your hands here, friend. Let's get some data in here. Who wants some data in their hands? Make you feel better. So smartelections.us is a bipartisan project aimed at here, chew on that. So here's a bunch of election data. Okay. 22 people, we've grown by 10% today. Our growth is immaculate. I just want to thank you all for being here. I would ask you today to drink water, to eat right, to exercise, to get 8+ hours of sleep. Know that largely there's nothing that we can do but hope and cope. If you voted, great. If you've contacted your state representatives, fan-fucking-tastic. If you've volunteered to help count ballots, you're a fucking hero. Okay? But we are in wait and fucking see if the Statue of Liberty just needs to be tossed out to sea. Okay? And that all rhymed, and it was live, and you're welcome. So yeah, I've been saying since election night that not only so you would Google that. Google that question. I use Siri a lot. I go, hey Siri, how do I contact my state representative? And it's going to take you to a website, and then it's going to, what state do you live in? Go here. This is your rep. This is how you contact them. Generally, they have an address in Washington, D.C., and they've got an address in your home state. Okay? And you, if you got social anxiety, there's like scripts out there that you can use when you contact these people if you'd rather read off a script. But yeah, I would prefer if you'd have done that before they fucking certify the election, because now, again, going back to our links that we've been talking about, okay, we got a few minutes left, so I want to make sure I hit this up, especially since we got some new people on the show, okay? When you look at Executive Order 13848, what it does, in short, is it says in Section 1A, not later than 45 days after the conclusion of a United States election, the Director of National Intelligence, in consultation with the heads of any other appropriate executive departments and agencies, shall conduct an assessment of any information indicating that a foreign government or any person has acted as an agent or on behalf of a foreign government has acted with the intent or purpose of interfering in that election. This assessment shall identify, to the maximum extent ascertainable, the nature of any foreign interference and any methods employed to execute it, the persons involved in the foreign government or governments that authorized, directed, sponsored, or supported it. The Director of National Intelligence shall deliver this assessment and appropriate supporting information to the President, the Secretary of State, the Secretary of the Treasury, the Secretary of Defense, the Attorney General, and the Secretary of Homeland Security. So that should be like, oh shit, Donald Trump and all his friends' ass are grass and the fucking feds are frying. Okay? That's what I just read to you should be like, oh shit, fuck. Like, if all those agencies that Donald Trump fucking hates and Elon Musk wants to fucking get rid of, oh baby, they all got to do a report on you now. And it's all due to the Director of the Department of National Intelligence and all those heads of state and the president and shit. Probably you. And then part B of that says within 45 days of receiving the assessment. So again, that adds 45 days on to December 20th. Within 45 days of receiving the assessment and information described in Section 1A of this order, the Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland Security, in consultation with the heads of any other appropriate agencies, and as appropriate, state and local officials, shall deliver to the President, the Secretary of State, and the Secretary of Treasury, and the Secretary of Defense a report evaluating with respect to the United States election that is subject to the assessment described in Section 1A. And then it tells you all the depth of which those reports are going to go. Okay? And then the next thing it says in here is not later than 30 days following the date of this order, the Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury, the Attorney General, the Secretary of Homeland Security, the Director of National Intelligence shall develop a framework for the process that will be used to carry out the respective responsibilities pursuant to this order. So that pushes us 45 days from December 20th, pushes you to Valentine's Day. You're welcome. And then so basically mid-March. That's what Executive Order 13848 does. Okay, is it gives you a time frame that an investigation will happen, and then the other document is the Federal Prosecution of Election Crimes. And when you read this document, there are people that have gotten like into this document and come back to me and been like, they broke like every fucking rule in this goddamn document. Yep. And again, remember what's important here, because people are going to lose the plot, and they're like, I don't understand why this is important, Jared. It's important because all those election crimes were going to end up in a friendly SCOTUS lap. And they were going to let Donald Trump off the hook, and he was going to be our president. This executive order, no, Logan, not in a million fucking years. You don't tell people in a speech, Kamala Harris, that Donald Trump is a fucking threat to the fucking free world and a fascist and shit. They knew. They had 37 years run up to this spot. Again, I want to point out, again, I feel like I'm reiterating shit. My wife would fucking kill me. A month out of the election, so October 5th, Joe Biden and a bunch of 3 and 4 letter agencies put out a fucking notification to the world. We are anticipating Russian interference in our election. The day before the fucking election, on November fucking 4th, Joe Biden and a bunch of 3 letter agencies put out another notification saying we're anticipating Russian interference in our election. Lori said they had to know. They knew. There's no way they didn't know. Do you think this is a basketball game where the opponents line up and the 2 coaches meet at half court and shake hands? The one guy is a fucking known cheater, and the other guy's like, yeah, I bet you his players play fair too. Like I said, they have been monitoring Donald Trump for 37 years because Donald Trump's first wife, Ivana, right? Is that her name? Was a Russian national. Funnily enough, this would be of a concern if my dad had maintained that relationship and it hadn't failed, and I hadn't deleted her off Facebook. But my dad married a Russian national. Mm-hmm. He's trying to take his retirement. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the Executive Order 13848. That report is due by Friday. Okay, so that report due Friday. I've been saying it's a matter of national and international security. I've been saying that I felt like there were outside 250 countries monitored our election. Do you think all those 250 countries were just like, yeah, seems good? The world's been awfully quiet about the US election. One of the things that I posted is there's an elected official that stepped down overseas warning about the Russian involvement in the US election. You will see a redacted version, my man. Good to see you, Justin and Logan. You're going to see a redacted version of that letter. There are going to be some things that are national and international security issues that can't be revealed to the public. Remember that aliens aren't fucking real. Savvy? UFOs aren't real. Think about this. Let's be sensible. Okay? We have the psychics say March 2. Huh, funny how that works. Are all the psychics feds? That was a bad joke. All the psychics are married to feds? What was I going to say? You got me all off course here. Didn't the Canary reach to something about the U.S. needing an audit? Well, one of the things that I'd heard from one of my birdies was uh, the election results don't matter if you cheated and committed fraud. So I don't know where the fuck that's written, but again, I want to make sure it's part of the message. Like, not only did they stop asking for money, they stopped talking about recounts. They stopped talking about audits, and they went radio silent. And then they certified the election last night, and it was quiet. I want to point out. I want to point out. No celebration from the right. Again, I'm asking for proof of life of J.D. Vance, other than at the Army Navy game. He probably rooted for Army. Traitor. Anyway, we've been going for a while. We are a little over an hour and a half in, and you've got good information. Okay, I would tell you if I felt like we needed to revolt. if I saw what Jackie Singh posted and I went and looked, I'd come back to you and say we're fucked. I would do it. But I went after I saw that from Jackie Singh. I went and did more research on Executive Order 13848. I could tell you how much it costs. Good to go. I could tell you how much money is appropriated to Executive Order 13848. I went and fucking looked it up. It actually exists. It's real. It's funded by the fucking government. And it's Donald Trump's, actually. And he originally did it. Do y'all understand why Donald Trump did that? Because he, in his delusional fucking mind, he was going to lose to Joe Biden, and he was going to use this to catch him cheating because he's fucking delusional. And you understand what happened. 45 days later, that letter came out, and there was no election fraud found, except the 5,000 votes that Donald Trump got thrown. He got people's votes thrown out. Voided altogether. Yeah. And you lose. And you lose. Make sure everyone knows. And you lose. 1.5 billion. Logan. I think it's like 1.45 billion. That's a good amount of money for this investigation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's plenty. It's a little more than Kamala Harris raised. Mm-hmm. I think that's why Donald Trump was so fucking quiet the 3 days after the election. There was no party. There was no parade. And again, I'm trying not to be too much of a conspiracy theorist about it. I'm trying to be realistic. Don't you think if they didn't cheat, he won it all? He's like the biggest winner ever. Presidency, a friendly SCOTUS, the House, the Senate, the whole country moved right. I mean, you talk about Emperor fucking Palpatine. Like, coming to power. Fucking, like that was then. And he was dead quiet. The most loud and most wrong person ever. I like to remind people, Donald Trump was so loud and so wrong that he got kicked off fucking Twitter. Didn't have a party. No parade. No float. Dragging Kamala Harris on a chain. And if you're sitting there like, why did you just say that? because there was a float of Donald Trump dragging Kamala Harris by a fucking chain, son. Where was your parade? And then again, I'd ask after last night, where's your party? Where's the party? Where's the parade? Where's the celebration? Anyone? And again, I'd also ask, where's the fucking money? Yeah. Seeing people with him suing people is just him knowing it's going to end, so why not do some crazy shit? He knows he's about to get charged with fucking election interference, fraud, treason, all that. Like, Elon Musk telegraphed the shit. He tried to say Alexander Vindman, the guy that testified against Donald Trump in his second impeachment, was guilty of treason and beholden to Ukrainian oligarchs, which does not pass. Where's the money? They don't have it. They're borrowing from the US. And that's like he's guilty of treason to Russia and their oligarchs. And then, right? And then Donald Trump files a lawsuit against Ann Seltzer. Understand that he's filing a lawsuit claiming election interference, and this, for the record, it's a First Amendment violation. He's trying to limit the First Amendment, free speech. Okay, this is not gonna pass. She's not losing this shit. She's not settling with him. It's a scare tactic. And as people said, it's such a dead fucking giveaway. Listen to me. I grew up in Indiana from 4th grade till I graduated high school and went to fucking West Lafayette and went to fucking Purdue. Grew up around these motherfuckers. I've argued against these people my whole fucking life. People just like Donald Trump, Elon Musk. People just fucking like them. Their behavior patterns are predictable. There's no panache. There's no showmanship. There's no humor. There's nothing good there. Unmitigated motherfucking evil. Yep. And ultimately, what is going to bring down Donald Trump is the DOJ and all them fucking agencies that he's fucking publicly talked about wanting to destroy are teeing off, to use a golf term, on the piece of shit golfer that fucking cheats. By the way, he cheats at golf. He cheats at golf. I know men that have played golf until they got a fucking aneurysm to break 80. My dad. He's an absolute unimaginable evil that is on his last motherfucking leg. You know, like when you watch football, when the running back gets hit and they're kind of skipping on one leg right before they get road mapped? That's Donald Trump right now. He's mid fucking skip on one leg, having been kind of clipped, kind of bounding along, single leg bounds, right? That's how you get super fast. If you have a little kid that you want to be an elite athlete, single leg bound. It's like a run, but with one leg. And so, like, instead of both legs moving, you run, you just do the right leg. Just do the right leg. It's called single leg bound. So when it happens in a game and you get clipped and you can like balance on one leg and you're kind of bounce again before you try to dive forward for the marker, often those guys just get lined up, and that's Donald Trump right now. He's just about to get clipped. And again, I've also said this, and I want to make sure that I say it, because while I still can say it and in my TikTok not get fucking banned, meow. I know a lot of fucking people. What's up, Dakota? I know a lot of people, and these aren't like Marines I served with, so I don't want you to think that I'm part of this group, okay? Because I'm not. I don't have time. I spend way too much time with y'all, okay? There are a bunch of people that serve this fucking country that have already decided if Donald Trump gets elected, he doesn't make it to the inauguration. So understand that lets me sleep at night, because I know there's a whole bunch of people that would do something I would never do. So know that's lurking. That's lurking. That's pulsating in the background. Is there's a growing cabal of fucking people that fucking dislike that man. So when we talk about Luigi Mangione, understand that the person whose podcast you're watching, I firmly believe he's not the killer. And that he's going to take the US US court system for a ride. So hey, that was our morning show. I still think like I said, things are moving, things are volatile. Where's Dakota? Hey, read this. And people have ever asked what was the most significant event that happened in the last 24 hours. Smart Elections released all their data last night. Like right when the election, was being certified, that 7 p.m. final call. Yeah, fucking Smart Elections. That's a bipartisan project, but I just want to point out people on the left and the right support this project. So understand, when you look at that data, that ain't biased. That's real. That looks an awful lot like Kamala Harris winning 5 fucking swing states. You're welcome. Have a good day. We'll see you later.